Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to What I'm Thinking. And a reaction video of what I just saw. As you can see, the score up there: Newcastle 1, Arsenal 0. I didn't even bother to put a space in there. I probably should have a space in there. So let's just do that. There we go. We'll get into it in a little bit, but oof, that was a tough one. That was a tough one.
WTT comes here. Damn right.
Oof. Well, hello again. Man, as you can see, I've got this is. We'll take this off, but yeah. Hmm. What do you say? Once again, Arsenal 1. Sorry, Arsenal 1. Newcastle 1. Arsenal 0. This is my what I'm thinking. A reaction show, reaction video actually, and so we'll get into it. So what did I see? Well, I guess we'll just start with the lineup, and we're trying to go through everything I can and see hopefully I can get this done in a short amount of time. I doubt it, but we'll try. So, like usual, first thing you do is you go to the lineup. How are we going to play this thing? How are we going to line up? Who's going to sit out? Who's going to start? For me, I just was thinking in this kind of a game, Havertz in midfield for me is just a no. Just no thanks for me. I just don't think he does it there. I know a lot of people say he does a lot of good work there, but nothing that I can quantify, and I like to quantify at least Havertz being in the midfield, that it comes with goals and assists. That's what I kind of hope, and the same goes to, well, the question mark is Eddie Nketiah. I just quantify how he's playing by whether he's gotten a goal. I mean, he doesn't really give assists, right? But a goal, and then you have to ask, what does Nketiah do on the road? He's not good. I think it's been 18 games now in a row that on the road and away from home, he's offered us nothing. So that's an issue there. But the midfield, well, we'll just start from the front and go, or start from the back and go forwards, because I think that's kind of where this game kind of goes into it. But Raya in goal, I think we expected that. I mean, there's a lot of talk about whether Raya deserves to start. Why is Ramsdale out? I personally did not like the idea of bringing Raya in because I didn't think that was a big enough issue to create all of this noise that we have right now. There's no reason to bring in Raya when Ramsdale, I believe, was a good enough goalkeeper for us. We thought that the same way when we had Leno. Teta went out, got Ramsdale. Everybody thought, you know what, this is why are we doing this? Obviously, he was right about Ramsdale. Ramsdale came in, did a better job, I believe, than Leno. You expected the same thing again. Lightning hitting the bottom a second time. If Arteta is going to go out of his way to bring in a goalkeeper when you don't need one, I always said I just think that's just adding more pressure to what is already a really big pressure cooker, as they say. He's got a lot of things he's trying to do. Figure out how to manage a team. I think he can coach. I just don't think he can manage a team just yet, and I think that comes with time. On top of that, he's brought Havertz in, he's trying to rekindle his form from years ago. I think that's a big challenge for a young manager. I don't think it's that easy. I know he's got a lot of assistance there and stuff, but I just think that one, as part of a team goal, I think that's a little bit too much. So a lot there. And Rice and Timber, really good. But we know about Timber. He's out until probably March, and Rice has been pretty good. So Ray and goal. Either one, I'll take either one. I don't care. I don't like the idea of bringing him in. But yeah, our back line. I think this is probably our strongest back line at this point. Tomiyasu, Gabriel Margalez, Saliba, and Benjamin White. Ben White, whatever you want to call him. I think we can't go wrong with that back line. I think that back line's going to hold up for us pretty well. So good job there. Um, And we pretty much are pretty solid on the defense when they're back there. We just make mistakes in front of them, creates problems. Midfield of Declan Rice, Jorginho, and Havertz. To me, I just don't think one. Well, Rice. Let's start with the good. We start with the good, bad, and ugly. Maybe the good is Declan Rice has been really good. He's offered us everything that we needed. He's worth the money that we spent. So easy peasy one there. Jorginho, I think he's good on one-offs. I don't think we can lean on him to play back-to-back games, back-to-back-to-back games, for example. So this will be a challenge because I assume he probably might start against Sevilla, and I think that might be we're asking too much of him. I think the way at least he's been playing for us, I believe he just can't go and play multiple games in a week. So had this game against Newcastle, I think that took a lot out of our players, and then Sevilla at home. It's going to be pressure to win at home. There's going to be pressure. Sevilla is going to want to come out there and get a win. They were able to get a goal back. They're probably thinking, if they can steal a win, they want to steal the one back. So, yeah. Havertz, once again, I say in midfield for me, it's a no. It's a no. For me. I know a lot of people will look at all the other things that he does that you don't quantify and look at and say he did well there, but I just don't think that helps us. None of that's helping us enough to where I feel like we're benefiting from that play. You might disagree. I just don't think he gives it to us there. Our front line, a little good on the outside, inside. For me, it's almost it's like the opposite of an Oreo cookie, right? The Oreo cookie, I like the cream on the inside, and the chocolate on the outside I could do without, but this is a little bit different. On the outside, you got Gabriano and Saka. In the middle, you got Nketiah. I think Nketiah has done well at home. Definitely done well at home against teams lower in the table. In our big games, not always so good, even though I think, he's played well, right? Against Manchester United last season, he played well. This season, not so much, and against, I believe, did he play against in the North London Derby? I think so. Not so good there. But I just don't think he's the right fit, and I agree we need to bring in a striker. Some people want to bring in somebody to push Nketiah down to third. I think we need to maybe bring somebody in to push maybe even Jesus down. So then Nketiah is at third, but it's Jesus that is in front of him, so the chances that he plays are slim. I think that would be the perfect situation, the perfect answer, but I think that's going to be a tough one to do. What Jesus offers is pretty good for what Arteta wants. Finding somebody to play behind him, I think, will be tough, so they would have to be much better. But yeah, that's the kind of issue. So I think Nketiah playing in the center there for me wasn't a positive. It didn't really help us much there because, I mean, I watched the game and he plays well, but I think we just need something a little bit extra, something a little bit more. And he doesn't always offer that. He took one shot today. So one shot today isn't going to work. He needs to take more than one shot. He is not at that clinical that you give him one shot, you think it's in. So we'll kind of go through the players we'll start with Nketiah. He is a good backup and even a good third backup to some degree for Arsenal, where Arsenal wants to be. So he's playing second now, and I think it's just because we don't have anybody in front of him. I mean, I think we might, but we don't have one right now who's slated there. I think Havertz probably should get a chance to play up there. For midfield, not a chance. But Nketiah, not so good for me. We'll go with Saka, because Saka, I think today, what disappointed me in his play is as soon as Dunk made that play, got up in the air and fell and landed on his back and was just grabbing his back immediately after that, I just figured this is the opportunity for Saka to go at the defensive back line, and Dunk was one play I think he should have went after. I believe they play on the same side. And I think, it's Dan Burn, and I think that Saka did not do that. I don't know if that was part of. I think our plan was to save, was to not actually attack a weakness in a player. His back was bothering him. You could see him grabbing it for the whole time. And I just would have liked for us to try to go at him at that point. It's like a play with a yellow, right? A play against a yellow, you continue to play the same way you did. You get that first yellow, he's gonna have to back off. Maybe you get the goal before they make the change. We didn't attack him enough. He went into halftime, didn't come back. I think that's where we went wrong. I mean, I don't think Saka attacked enough. A lot of times, I would hope that he would try to, beat the man to the goal line. Didn't do that enough. I don't know if he can. That might be the other thing. Can he? Is he 100%? I don't think so. I think, I look at, I'll just go through some of his stats, and we'll do this for everybody else as well. I'll go back to Nketiah, but he spent a lot of time just outside that corner of the 18. You look at where he's concentrated, it's a lot just outside that 18, all the way in the goal side, and then a little bit further on the other side on the defensive side, just inside the halfway line. That's a lot of where he concentrated, and that's not going to work for us. He needs to be inside inside the box a little bit more for me. Just I think he's taken one shot. He had one shot blocked, 59 touches, which is pretty good. 92% passing, very good from him. But I think we needed more from him today. Didn't get it, and I think that was a problem. Go back to Nketiah real quick here. Like I said, like they show I believe either the concentration or just kind of where he was spread out all over the pitch. I would have liked him to be a lot more centralized, a lot more inside the box, but that wasn't the case. And I kind of feel like that's the problem for me. He doesn't want to attack that middle area, and there was a couple times I think in that first half where Martinelli gets the ball and is going down that left-hand side, and Nketiah is just jogging up, like he's jogging in pace with the defense, like just so that there's no way to get the ball to him because he's right just behind the defense, as opposed to running at that back line, and maybe not running off sides, but running at that back line and make them maybe get a little bit offline in terms of in their backup. One shot isn't going to do it. He needs to be in the box a lot more. I mean, he took one shot. 16 passes, not much from him for me. Not much for him for me. Let's see who's up next. Martinelli. A lot. You can see where he was concentrated a lot on the pitch, and he was once again just outside that 18 on the left hand side, but barely any point in the game was he, spending much time on the defensive side. A lot of it was heavily concentrated on that wide part of the pitch, just outside the 18. Always almost up to the halfway line. So a lot of attacking up that side. There is some concentration of time inside the 18, which is what you expect from Gabriel Martinelli. Very good from him. Very good from him. He got 2 shots taken. Actually, yeah. 3 shots, I think 3 shots actually. Yeah, he took. So we'll take that. 75 touches, a lot more than Saka in this game. Sorry about the cough, but yeah. On the attack, I think Martinelli was the better of the 3. He usually is in those types of games where we would need to have an attack that affects the back line. He did a good job there. I think he needed a little bit more support. He wasn't going to get that from Nketiah today, based on what we saw, and then I think that was an issue. That's a problem. So he's kind of like wasteful. Kind of not wasteful. It's wasteful in the fact that he has no one to go to, and that was a problem. But yeah, not that good. Again, into the midfield, Declan Rice, as I say always. Does a good job for us. I mean, that's what I'm going to say. I don't think there's much you can say negative about him in this game. I think he did really well. I think what happens is it's just him and who else he's with, and sometimes the quality next to him is lower. So it's hard for him to. He has to kind of be perfect, and I think that's asking a lot. So he did all right there. I think I would have rather have him play the 6, to tell you the truth, or play the middle. At least his concentration was a lot more on the left-hand side, where Martinelli was. So yeah, I think it's better for me. I think it's better if he plays in that middle area. So that was Declan Jorginho. Played him much through the middle, which is what we want from him. He's okay. I just don't think he can go multiple games. So today, in the game state, he did all right, but I think we needed a lot more from that position. I just didn't get it from him. But I'm not surprised. I think he did. He did okay. I think he did okay. Um, did he get a shot off? He did get a shot off. Yeah, 2 shots, 1 off target, 1 blocked. So, 95% passing, 63 touches. I think he did all right. So yeah, did all right. Like I said, I think the midfield with the 3 that we had just for me wasn't going to cut it. Next up, we've got Havertz. He got he got 1 shot blocked, 48 touches, 70% passing. So basically, the lower, his passing is just not up to the quality. I know some people might say he's played well, but we're seeing a lot of our passing is up in that 80-90% range, especially in that midfield, and 70% for him is not good. Like I said, I quantify his play by the goals and assists that he will contribute to the team, and he just didn't do that. And I believe that's what he needs to provide to this team. So that's a problem for me. That's why I would rather have him up further up the pitch, playing in that central role. He was lucky today to survive. He could have gotten 2 yellows and been out of the game. Could have got a straight red, and we wouldn't have been surprised by it. So he's lucky. He's a lucky man. Very lucky. All right. So next up, what do we have? Get that back line. As I said, I don't even know if I need to talk individually about the back line, and we'll talk about the goalkeeper. But I think the back line in general, for me, we played well, and I think that right now is our strongest part of the team right now. When we have those, I mean, Zinchenko maybe drops a little bit of, we lose a little bit in the defensive standpoint there, but I think offensively we're a little bit better when he's there, just because he provides a little bit of support in the midfield when he comes in. Tomiyasu provides the defense that we need in a game like this. I mean, we didn't even play against Isaac. They didn't play against Jesus, so I think both teams were equal in that position. I think losing Partey for us is a big deal. I don't know who they were missing in midfield, if anyone. I think Bruno and Joe Linton and Tonali, I guess, also could be a starter for them in some cases. I'm not sure about that in this game. For us, Timber and Partey being out along with Jesus is, for me, a bigger loss. But we need to be able to play without them. So I think the back line did really well. I mean, we to some degree did not kept them out of the goal. I think the goal, and we'll get into that. There's a couple of places where I think we could have done better. Raya, as I said, I think he's not enough, but he's not. The difference between him and Ramsdale isn't enough to quantify bringing him to make the case to bring him in. I think it was not necessary. It's just created more of a headache. We don't need that. We need to just be playing the football, not talking about and thinking about who is our starting goalkeeper. I think that's just crazy. I mean, it's like saying who's your starting striker. At some point, they're both going to exert a little bit more effort than they usually do, and they're gonna fail doing that. Rare today didn't have much to. I mean, that first half, he had not much to do at all. I think at one point in that first half, we had 5 to 7 shots, and they had none. We had kept them pretty quiet. Then we kind of started to let them back into the game. That's going to happen. It's going to happen. I don't think you can keep a team out forever, especially a team like Newcastle. So we did a good job there. I think that was the point where we probably should have pulled away. We didn't do that, and we paid for it. So I think that's the problem there. In that first half, I think we needed to have scored with the amount of pressure that we were putting on that back line. Not much pressure on the back line, but the amount of possession we had and opportunities to actually try to take a shot, we didn't do it. And I think that that's probably one point to where we lost this game. But like I said, Rhea, on the goal itself, he played that pretty bad. I mean, I think if he knew he couldn't get to the ball, if he at least could have tracked the ball, he probably would have been able to go in there and smother it before it ended up at the feet of Gordon. But he did jump for it, and he was way off. He wasn't close to getting his hand on that ball. So I think that's bad positioning on his part. I think that ball, when it trickles down the goal line, I believe at some point we need to have somebody go out there and meet the attacker before they got into the box, and I don't think we did that. I think didn't have enough players back where players were sitting. I still don't think we went in there and put enough pressure on that player as he came into the box and put the cross in. It was a perfect cross if you see where it lands. I mean, it's just outside the goal on that right hand side or the left hand side if you're looking out. Ball should never happen. And Gabriel Margalès, I don't understand. I think he was getting pushed early, and that's why he's leaning forward the entire. I doubt he just leans forward like that. I doubt that because we've seen him play. I believe there was some contact. I believe it is a contact sport, but I think that push benefited Joelinton more than it was just some simple contact in the game. The fact that he was able to keep his hands on his back for as long as he did, I think that should have been a call for a foul. Many people will say the ball should have been out. Other people said that that it was offsides, but they're saying they couldn't identify it because there's too many people. If 4 players is too many people, then how in the world? That means that 4 people was too many. That's what they're saying. There's only 4 people that really mattered in that situation. The two attackers, Gabriel Margalès and Rhea. That's the only players that were there. So I kind of felt like, I don't know if they got it wrong, but I just kind of felt like that one went against us. So yeah, we went through the players, the game as a whole. I think, like I said, I think we didn't play well. Once again, we need to start. We kind of had a discussion and watch along performance over results, and results matter. Yes, they do. I think you guarantee better results when you play better, right? I think as some people will say, I think you score more when you create more. You know what I mean? So I think that's kind of where we were. We didn't play well. We didn't really deserve to get the win in this match. I don't think Newcastle deserved to get a win either. Came down to somebody else making a decision for us. And I think we got the short end of the stick in that one. I think Bruno Grimage being able to make it through the game did not, was a positive for them. But Kai Havertz also could have been out of this game as well. I mean, he had essentially 2 probably yellow card situations, maybe a red. Grimage had a red situation and probably about 3 yellows that he could have gotten. I think, if that's the case, then it's almost a wash in, except for the fact that Grimage had 4 easily yellow card situations that only one was given, and that was late in the game when it was a little too late for them to get punished for it. As far as shooting, I complained when I was watching the game. We too many extra touches every time we're trying to take an extra touch instead of being ready to take the shot one time. You just basically would take the ball would take one touch and then kick it right into the defender who hadn't moved an entire time. I'm not sure how we practice these things, but I thought they practiced with like the little dummies and they tried to curl the ball around them. The defender never moved. And there's a couple opportunities where I think it was Martinelli. I think if he chooses to put the ball in one of the corners, he probably scores. And I think I say that a lot. We seem to just kick the ball straight. And I think if he would have picked maybe the near post and tried to put it either high or low, he might get a score in there. Goalkeeper might not get to it in time. If he can get around and put a ball around and get it to the far corner, maybe also. But not enough opportunity. There's a lot. We took a lot of shots. I just don't think any of them were high. Shots that were going to get us a goal. And that's the problem. I think our opportunities, our chances just aren't that great. We take shots just because we take shots, and it looks like the numbers look right. But if you look at the shots taken, they're not threatening the goalkeeper. I mean, a lot of them are getting blocked, and I think they're getting blocked because we take an extra touch. So there's no benefit to all those shots. The creation for those shots, I think a lot of times we have to, the front line has to create them themselves. It's not like a build up from the back where everything's moving in one direction and you ended up getting, I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that at all. A lot of it's just some slow build up, get the ball on the outside, and then the player has to make a play where Martinelli strives. Sager, not so much. The 1-2 play was pretty poor. So just like I said, a lot of not good football in that sense. I think the middle we was barren a lot of times in terms of where the ball went. We couldn't attack, and I was just listening to some people, listening to people, and this it was a donut. There's a lot of balls going on the outside, nothing through the middle. I think a couple of times we had an opportunity to maybe take the ball on the half turn, and we didn't. We never do it. We'd always just pass it back, basically killing any forward movement in our attack, and that hurts us. We need to be moving that ball forward consistently up the pitch, and we don't do it. So we just didn't play well. I think it's more we didn't play well. They didn't play well either, and maybe the cause of our not playing well was them. But I think Saka and Gabriel Martinelli for me Gabriel Martinelli for me are much better wings out there than Anthony Gordon and Almiron in total. I believe they are. Didn't play like that today. Gordon gets the goal. Gordon was a little showed up. Almiron does what he usually does. I mean, I think they've got to play more their style than we got to play ours, and I think that's they were happy to play that way. We don't play that way. We played the way they play, so we need to be able to play our style. I think we're good enough to do that. So yeah, that's a lot of it for me. I don't know if there's much more I can talk about, but I mean the stats are the stats, and we can go through that real quick. Of course, they had the higher XG because why not? With the opportunity they had, we had a lot more possession of the ball. In turn, we had a 60%, but I think at one point we had 70% that first half, and then we started to let it go. 14 shots for us, 9 to them, 2 on target for them, only 1 on target for us. I think that's the problem. I think a lot of our shots just aren't threatening the goalkeeper. I mean, they blocked 9 shots. We took 14, they blocked 9 of them. And I think a lot of those block shots are from us actually taking an extra touch. And in most cases, just kicking it right at the same place where the defender was standing, like they never moved. So I sound like a broken record a lot of times. I say the same things over. Broken, yeah. As far as yellows, they had 5, we had 1. They should have had probably more. Should have had a player get a red card and out of there, but that didn't happen. You cannot put the onus of the game onto somebody else, Arsenal players. You didn't do your job, and you didn't do your job, and you paid for it. You let somebody else take care of it, and we had to depend on the officials to make the right call for us, or the right calls that would have benefited us, and it did not happen. They didn't have enough information to make the play, or they decided it wasn't there. So I think like I said, the draw would have been. I would have taken a draw because of the way we both teams played. I don't think either one necessarily was going to take the game away. I think they got a lot more of the benefits, even though they did get 4 yellows, and after that Havertz foul. And you think you give out that many yellows just for people talking to you, but Bruno Guimaraes put his hands and body on 4 times in that game. He only got 1 yellow at the end. I think that's that's disappointing in terms of how the game was managed from the official side. So yeah. Earlier in the game, you had a Harry Maguire call where he was offsides, and the reason why they really wanted they could call it was he was offsides and he was in a position on the pitch, which meant the opponent had to defend him. But hands on the back of Gabriel Magalhaes is okay. It's okay. It's okay. I think the hands on the back, he might have not been a big push, but I think if he doesn't push him, I believe Gabriel Magalhaes could probably lift his head up and maybe clear that ball. He might have scored an own goal, but he could have stepped up, I think. Because when you're leading on a player and you're pushing them down, I think you get the benefit of that. That went the other way, and the defender was doing that. They're gonna call it. So I don't understand how it doesn't work the other way. I believe they would call that. They got the one big chance, they scored. We got no big chances, and that's the problem. I think we don't create enough chances. So, and you'll hear a lot of people say that we don't create enough chances, and they go, well, Havertz scores all these goals, but they create a lot of chances. I mean, Havertz did not score today, and they scored 6 goals. That means that they're getting a lot of good chances. They're creating more chances than we are. They're taking better shots than us. I think we need to create a lot more chances than City to keep up with them in terms of goal scoring. But we need a lot more chances because our players just require it. I believe they require it. That's all I'm going to say. Like I said, I think it's more about our play than it is the officials. The officials didn't help us out. But that one segment of play can't override all the other, 90 minutes of that game. That was all on us. We didn't show up. And that's all the way around. I think that's the players, that's the coaching. I think Arteta could have made subs sooner. I would have liked to have seen a sub at halftime. I think Havertz either should have moved up front and Kedira off, and maybe a Trossard or somebody come in. I think Reece Nelson could have come on and helped us. I think he would have helped us a little bit more than Vieira. Nelson comes on, I think he shows a little bit more hunger lately than I have seen from a lot of others. Then Zinchenko coming in from Tomiyasu, I don't know about that one. Didn't think that was the move I would have made. I would have kept Tomiyasu on for defensive purposes and maybe added more attack. Jorginho definitely coming off makes good movement for me. Could have come on sooner. I think our first sub was like 9 minutes after they scored. I think we should have had subs ready to go at halftime. 1 or 2 should have come on. At some point, we need to make subs to change the game in our favor, not react to something negative that happens through the other team. So that's my take. That's me. That's what I'm thinking. We will do this again. I'll try to do a video, hopefully a video once a week, be it my 5 or what I'm thinking, so you guys can get a little taste of either one. I went through all the players today because I don't think there were 5 players that I wanted to look at this game. I think everybody needed to get talked to this time around. But we'll be back. Thank you everybody for joining us. Hit the like, subscribe, and all of that, and we'll talk to you later.
Life is a journey. Don't waste your trip. Enjoy the ride. There you go.